So Ohio State taking care of business today against Tulsa. Got off to a great start. You know, the very first play of the game for Tulsa, they throw an interception, setting the Buckeyes up right in the end zone. Well, they're unable to move the ball really at all right there. They settle for a field goal, but they're up 3-0, boom, just like that. You know, then they're able to, Tulsa's moving the ball a little bit, but not able to score. And then the Buckeyes, man, when they would get the ball here early in the first half, they just were not able to move it at all. They could not run the ball. You know, they're getting Weber up the middle for a yard or two at a time. JT couldn't get anything going running the ball, you know, within which just led to no passing game whatsoever. And, you know, 6-3, it was 3-0 and 3-3 and 6-3. Looked like it was going to be 6-3 going into the half. The weather was getting bad. You know, the rain started to fall. There's threats of lightning. They did getting a long extended halftime break, which may have helped with the lightning delay. But it was 6-3. Looked like it was going to be 6-3 at halftime, and Tulsa just has a meltdown a little bit. You know, they throw one pick six, making it 13-3. Probably not the end of the world. Could have got out of there, you know, at 13-3, not feeling horrible. But then they throw another pick six right before the half. Buckeyes go up 20-3. Lattimore gets the pick six in there. Hooker also gets a pick six. Tulsa ended up throwing 4 interceptions on the day. Lattimore, along with the pick six, he also got that very first one to start the game. Buckeyes are up 20-3 at the half, so it's looking much better there. Then they come out in the second half, you know, not exactly dominating, but moving the ball much better. You know, they start out, they're trying to go a little bit to the outside instead of pounding it up the middle. JT Barrett runs one in, puts them up 27-3. Then Weber gets his first touchdown of the season, first touchdown of his career to put them up 34-3. Barrett runs another one, 41-3. It's like, all right, now they're rolling. They're starting to score on every possession. Dontre Wilson had a nice punt return. He had a couple nice punt returns today. One of his punt returns set up the Barrett's second TD run. He also had a nice catch on that play. Oh, man. Curtis Samuel with a nice catch down there inside the 5-yard line, thinking they were going to let him run it in from there on out, but they did not. That's when they handed it to Weber. Then Dontre Wilson getting in on the scoring action to end the day. You know, another big day out of Dontre. They get him in the end zone, putting him up 48-3. Now we're late in the fourth quarter, and JT Barrett and the boys are still in there. Finally, the final possession of the game, they get Burrow and the backups in there. Not a lot of the wide receivers stood out today. You know, the passing game was a lot of Curtis Samuel and Dontre Wilson. Receivers did make a few catches, but just not a whole lot going on in the passing game. Maybe around 150 yards or so passing for JT. Weber was, you know, nearing 100 yards rushing. Samuel probably over 100 total yards. Had the TD in there. So after a slow, ugly start, they got a little extra time to regroup at halftime. That helped getting some coaching in there, working on a game plan. And it come out looking nice in the second half, especially once they got through that first possession or two of the third quarter. And then they really started rolling through the end of the third, early part of the fourth. Continued to rain. The stadium, about probably half or even more than half empty probably by the end. Not that I blame them. You know, they're playing Tulsa. It's week 2, shitty weather. Started out great. Day looked beautiful. You know, as it was raining and lightning here, I'm thinking, uh-oh, it's headed that way. It's headed northeast. Columbus is going to get fucked. Are they going to make it to halftime or not? Well, they made it to halftime. I don't know. Can I repeat that again about how the long halftime helped the Buckeyes? All right, I've said enough. They're 2-0, taking care of Tulsa 48-3. Moving into Oklahoma next week, taking on Bob Stoops and the boys. Oklahoma. I ain't worried about Oklahoma, man. I'm a little worried. You know, the lack of a running game early in this game concerns me. I don't know what's going on with the offensive line. Nick Bosa getting in there at the end with a big play. Boom, we're out of here. FSAPA 20.